The habits of self-made millionaires are not born from chance, privilege, or luck, but from an inner alignment with universal law. Before wealth appears in form, it is conceived in consciousness. Every successful individual first learns to think, speak, and act in harmony with abundance. Life is not a battle to be fought but a game to be played wisely, and those who understand the rules move forward with ease while others struggle against invisible resistance. Prosperity responds not to force, but to faith backed by disciplined action. One of the first habits is mastery over thought. Self-made millionaires do not allow fear, doubt, or envy to take root in the mind. They understand that every thought is a seed, and what is planted in consciousness must eventually bear fruit. They refuse to rehearse failure or imagine loss. Instead, they habitually expect success, not as wishful thinking, but as a natural outcome of right thinking. They speak words that agree with their desires, knowing that spoken words carry power and set unseen forces into motion. Another habit is clarity of purpose. They do not drift through life hoping opportunity will find them. They decide. Decision is a spiritual act. Once the mind is made up, the way opens. Indecision blocks the flow of supply, while clear intention acts as a magnet. Self-made millionaires train themselves to know what they want, and to hold that vision steadily, even when outer conditions seem to deny it. They trust that what is rightly theirs cannot be withheld. They also practice disciplined faith. Faith, to them, is not passive waiting but active trust. They move forward even when the whole path is not visible. They take inspired action, believing that each step will reveal the next. They do not waste energy on worry, because worry is misplaced imagination. Instead, they imagine success with calm confidence, allowing the mind to become a workshop of creative ideas rather than a storehouse of fears. Gratitude is another powerful habit. Self-made millionaires give thanks in advance, knowing that gratitude is the key that opens the door to greater supply. They appreciate what they have, no matter how small it seems, because appreciation multiplies. They understand that the universe responds generously to a thankful heart, while complaint and criticism shut the door on progress. They also develop the habit of self-command. They govern their emotions instead of being ruled by them. Discouragement does not linger, and setbacks are not given the power to define their future. They see every challenge as a signal to rise in consciousness, to refine thought, and to strengthen belief. What appears as an obstacle becomes a stepping stone when met with the right inner attitude. Above all, self-made millionaires cultivate harmony within. They release resentment, forgive freely, and refuse to carry the burden of past mistakes. They know that resentment blocks prosperity and forgiveness restores flow. By keeping their inner world orderly, confident, and expectant of good, they align themselves with inexhaustible supply, and life responds accordingly, bringing opportunities, ideas, and resources through channels often unexpected and wonderfully timed. Mastery of thought and words. Mastery of thought and words is the invisible foundation upon which every outer success is built. Life moves according to mental law, and what a person habitually thinks and speaks sets the pattern for what appears in experience. Self-made millionaires understand, whether consciously or intuitively, that the mind is a creative instrument, not a passive observer. They refuse to let it run wild with fear, limitation, or negative prediction. Instead, they train it gently but firmly, knowing that disciplined thinking is not strain but alignment with a higher order. Thought is the silent command, and words are the spoken decree. Every repeated idea sinks into the subconscious, where it begins to operate as law. Those who rise to great success are careful gardeners of the mind. They uproot thoughts of lack the moment they appear, not by fighting them, but by replacing them with ideas of abundance, order, and success. They do not say, "I hope," or "I wish," when speaking of their goals. Their language is calm, assured, and expectant, because they know that words shape reality long before reality becomes visible. They also understand that complaining is a confession of failure. To speak of obstacles, unfairness, or bad luck is to give those conditions power. Therefore, they cultivate the habit of constructive speech. Even in difficult circumstances, they refuse to label situations as impossible. They know that the spoken word has momentum, and once released, it continues to act. A careless sentence spoken in discouragement can undo weeks of right thinking, while a single statement of faith can restore balance and direction. Self-made millionaires also practice inner conversations with great care. What one says silently to oneself is just as powerful as what is spoken aloud. They do not rehearse arguments, replay disappointments, or imagine future failure. Instead, they practice inner agreement with success. They see themselves succeeding, not with strain or desperation, but with natural confidence. This inner dialogue becomes a quiet assurance that guides decisions and attracts the right people, ideas, and opportunities. Another aspect of mastery is emotional control through thought discipline. Emotions follow thoughts, not the other way around. By sing thoughts of calm expectation, gratitude, and confidence. They prevent fear and anxiety from taking root. They know that fear is simply faith in the wrong direction, and by redirecting the mind, fear dissolves without effort. They do not deny challenges, but they deny challenges the power to dominate consciousness. Words for them are sacred tools. They avoid idle talk that drains energy or scatters focus. Gossip, criticism, and negative humor are recognized as leaks in the prosperity current. Instead, they speak with purpose. Their words encourage, affirm, and clarify. When they speak of money, success, or opportunity, there is no apology or shame. They speak of abundance as something natural and rightful, not something rare or reserved for a few. Affirmation is not repetition without feeling, but agreement with truth. Self-made millionaires use affirmations to establish new patterns of belief. They declare success before it is visible, not to convince the world, but to align their own consciousness. These statements are not shouted in desperation, but spoken quietly with conviction. Over time, the mind accepts them, and behavior naturally adjusts to match the new inner reality. They also understand the importance of silence. Mastery of words includes knowing when not to speak. They do not announce every plan or explain every decision. Silence protects intention. By keeping certain desires within, they allow them to grow strong without interference from doubt or outside opinion. This restraint is not secrecy born of fear, but wisdom born of understanding mental law. Consistency is what transforms this habit into power. Occasional positive thinking cannot overcome years of habitual doubt. Therefore, they practice daily mental discipline. They begin the day by setting the tone of thought, choosing ideas that support success and harmony. When negative thoughts arise, they do not condemn themselves, they simply redirect. This gentle persistence builds a mind that automatically moves towards solutions rather than problems. Through mastery of thought and words, self-made millionaires create an inner atmosphere of expectancy. Life responds to this atmosphere as naturally as a seed responds to fertile soil. Opportunities seem to appear at the right moment. Ideas arrive with clarity, and resources flow through channels that feel almost effortless. What others call luck is simply the outer effect of long-practiced inner alignment, sustained by a disciplined mind and a tongue trained to speak only what agrees with success and abundance already accepted as true in consciousness. Clarity of purpose and decision. Clarity of purpose and decision is the compass that guides every self-made millionaire through the complex terrain of life. Without clear intent, even the most diligent effort can scatter like seeds cast upon barren soil. Those who achieve extraordinary success understand that knowing what you want is the first step in allowing it to manifest. Purpose is not vague aspiration or fleeting desire. It is a settled certainty, a precise mental image that guides thought, action, and emotion in harmonious alignment. The mind, once fixed upon a definite aim, becomes a powerful magnet, drawing circumstances, opportunities, and people into its orbit. Decision is the active expression of purpose. A person who hesitates, vacillates, or dwells in uncertainty invites delay, confusion, and frustration. Self-made millionaires do not wait for perfect conditions or external approval. They recognize that clarity of purpose coupled with firm decision is more powerful than all external circumstances. When the mind is unwavering, the universe begins to conspire in ways that support the chosen objective. The act of decision is spiritual as well as practical. It signals commitment, energizes action, and aligns unseen forces with visible endeavor. These individuals also understand the necessity of writing their purpose into conscious awareness. A vague intention cannot compete with a vivid mental picture. They see their goal in detail, imagining it with the senses fully engaged. How it feels, how it looks, and the impact it has on life are all visualized with precision. This mental rehearsal strengthens belief, programs the subconscious, and prepares the mind to recognize opportunities when they appear. Purpose without visualization remains abstract, but vividly pictured purpose becomes a living blueprint for achievement. Clarity of POO. RPOs also dictates priorities. Self-made millionaires avoid distraction because they know that energy scattered is energy lost. Every action is measured against the standard of whether it moves them closer to their chosen goal. They do not expend effort on trivial matters, social approval, or pursuits that satisfy momentary desire but do not support long-term objectives. This focus is not rigid or cold. It is a conscious alignment of time, thought, and energy with that which produces lasting results. By cultivating this selective attention, they conserve energy and amplify effectiveness. Decision strengthens confidence. Once a choice is made, doubt begins to fade. Indecision multiplies obstacles and invites second-guessing, but a committed decision creates momentum. Self-made millionaires understand that momentum is the silent force behind progress. Every decision, once acted upon, generates its own energy, and each forward step increases clarity. The mind, freed from uncertainty, becomes a vehicle for creative solutions rather than hesitation. Obstacles, when they arise, are met with problem-solving rather than panic, because the direction is already set and only the path needs adjustment. Persistence is guided by clarity of purpose. The goal becomes a beacon, and all actions are aligned in pursuit of it. Temporary setbacks do not alter the mental image or shake the decision. Challenges are interpreted as feedback, information to adjust strategy rather than reason to abandon. Dawn direction. This steadfastness cultivates resilience, and the mind learns to operate in faith rather than fear. By holding purpose and decision consistently, they create a framework that supports continuous growth, learning, and adaptation. They also employ reflection to maintain clarity. Self-made millionaires regularly review their objectives, assess alignment between action and purpose, and make adjustments when necessary. This reflection is not worry or doubt, but deliberate calibration. They recognize that life is dynamic, and while purpose remains steadfast, methods may evolve. Through this process, they maintain both flexibility and firmness, knowing that clarity does not mean rigidity but disciplined awareness. The ability to make firm decisions also extends to choosing associations and influences. They understand that the company one keeps can either reinforce or undermine purpose. Self-made millionaires deliberately surround themselves with people who uplift, support, and inspire growth. They avoid negative voices that sow doubt or distract from the path. Every relationship, conversation, and influence is measured against the standard of whether it nourishes purpose or detracts from it. In doing so, they maintain mental and emotional clarity, ensuring that their inner compass remains true. Action follows naturally from clarity of purpose and decision. Once the path is seen, steps unfold with precision and ease. There is no hesitation, no wasted energy in debate. Alternatives endlessly. Even when the route is challenging or unclear in its entirety, commitment to the goal provides direction for each immediate step. They act consistently and strategically, knowing that small, steady progress guided by a clear vision compounds into results far beyond what casual effort could achieve. The act of moving forward becomes both evidence of clarity and reinforcement of belief. Clarity of purpose also fosters a sense of personal responsibility. Self-made millionaires recognize that the outcome of their life is determined not by external conditions alone, but by the alignment of their thoughts, choices, and actions with their goal. They refuse to blame circumstances, timing, or other people for delay or setbacks. Instead, they examine where focus or effort may be misaligned and correct course. This mindset transforms obstacles into opportunities for refinement and strengthens the ability to persevere with unwavering focus. The habit of decisiveness, combined with unwavering purpose, creates an inner confidence that radiates outward. Others sense their clarity and commitment, which draws support, partnerships, and opportunities. People are naturally attracted to those who know where they are going, for clarity inspires trust. When one acts with a definite goal in mind, circumstances respond as if guided by invisible intelligence, presenting options that align with the chosen direction. What may appear as luck or coincidence is in fact the natural effect of persistent mental focus and purposeful action, and this alignment becomes the invisible engine driving both opportunity and achievement. Faith in action, not fear. Faith in action, not fear, is the driving force behind every self-made millionaire's journey. Wealth does not come to those who tremble at the uncertainty of life or wait for conditions to be perfect. it comes to those who act with confidence rooted in inner conviction, knowing that the unseen world responds to the energy they project. Fear is the enemy of progress, because it halts movement and clouds judgment, whereas faith is the lubricant of opportunity, smoothing obstacles and allowing energy to flow toward desired outcomes. Self-made millionaires understand that faith is not passive. It is a deliberate alignment of thought, belief, and action with the expectation of success. They practice faith daily, not as wishful thinking, but as active expectation. To act in faith means to begin before the full evidence is visible, to step into uncertainty with calm confidence. It requires the mind to trust in unseen forces, to believe that opportunity, guidance, and resources exist, even if not immediately apparent. Fear, by contrast, magnifies uncertainty and convinces the mind to wait, hesitate, or retract from necessary steps. By choosing faith over fear, the self-made millionaire ensures that action is never paralyzed, and every step forward becomes a creative expression of belief. Faith in action also requires a strong inner vision. The mind must hold a clear picture of the desired outcome, for faith without vision is vague and ineffective. They see the goal as already realized, and act accordingly. This mental rehearsal engages the subconscious, which begins to organize external circumstances in alignment with the inner image. Actions taken in this state are purposeful, precise, and creative, guided not by doubt but by expectation. Each act reinforces belief, and each reinforcement strengthens the ability to act decisively in the future. Self-made millionaires understand that setbacks are not reasons to abandon faith but signals to adjust methods. They view challenges as temporary misalignments, not permanent denials. When plans fail, they do not succumb to fear or complaint. They return to faith, recalibrate, and move forward. In this way, faith becomes both compass and fuel, guiding action while sustaining momentum. Fear, on the other hand, interprets obstacles as insurmountable walls, which immobilizes thought and energy. By habitually choosing faith, they maintain a forward-moving current that attracts solutions and possibilities. They also recognize that fear often masquerades as caution. Self-made millionaires distinguish between wise prudence and limiting fear. Prudence is informed, rational, and guided by knowledge. Fear is emotional, reactive, and restrictive. Acting in faith does not mean ignoring risks. It means approaching them with confidence that solutions exist, guidance will appear, and obstacles can be overcome. This discernment allows them to take bold, calculated steps that others might avoid, creating opportunities that appear miraculous to the untrained observer. Words and affirmations reinforce faith. They speak with assurance, focusing on possibilities rather than impossibilities. The language of fear is avoided because it strengthens doubt and magnifies obstacles. Instead, they declare their goals, express gratitude in advance, and affirm their capacity to succeed. These spoken declarations, aligned with inner conviction, act as commands to the subconscious, shaping perception and directing action. The consistency of this habit strengthens faith, creating an unbroken chain of thought, word, and action that manifests in tangible results. Faith also manifests through persistence. Self-made millionaires understand that results rarely appear overnight, and that delay is not denial. They continue to act, guided by inner conviction rather than immediate evidence. Each small step taken in faith compounds over time, generating momentum and opening doors that seemed previously closed. The longer they act in faith, the more resilient their confidence becomes, creating a positive cycle in which action strengthens belief, and belief fuels further action. They cultivate an inner attitude that views life as abundant and responsive. Fear imagines limitation, scarcity, and lack. Faith imagines opportunity, resources, and growth. By habitually focusing on possibilities rather than problems, they train their minds to see paths rather than obstacles. This mental orientation directs attention and energy toward solutions, creative ideas, and favorable circumstances, while fear channels attention toward difficulty, delay, and doubt. The direction of thought, maintained consistently, determines the path of action and the reality it produces. Self-made millionaires also recognize the power of trust in timing and process. Faith allows them to move without attachment to immediate results, understanding that effort aligns with outcome, even if evidence is delayed. Fear, in contrast, demands instant proof, leading to frustration and withdrawal. Acting in faith creates a steady rhythm of effort and receptivity, which invites opportunities and resources to converge naturally. Trust in the invisible order of life becomes the quiet confidence that sustains action when results are not yet visible. Furthermore, faith encourages creative problem-solving. Those who act from fear are limited by perceived boundaries. Those who act from faith see possibilities beyond current circumstances. Faith enlarges perspective, allowing innovative approaches and unexpected solutions to appear. It transforms challenges into invitations for resourcefulness, enabling self-made millionaires to navigate complex situations with ease. In this way, faith is not a vague hope but a practical tool, directing energy and intelligence toward constructive outcomes. They also integrate faith with gratitude. Belief that success is already available is reinforced by a thankful heart. Gratitude signals alignment with abundance and reinforces confidence that the desired outcome is in process. Fear, by contrast, focuses on lack, which perpetuates limitation. By maintaining a combination of faith and gratitude, they create an internal environment that attracts opportunities, ideas, and people in support of their goals. In essence, faith in action is the engine of wealth creation. It transforms intention into tangible results and removes the paralyzing grip of fear. Every step taken with trust, every decision made with inner certainty, and every word spoken in alignment with belief contributes to a life of prosperity. Self-made millionaires are not free from uncertainty, but they refuse to allow it to dominate. By consistently choosing faith over fear, they create a momentum of action that produces results far greater than circumstance alone could dictate. Gratitude as a wealth multiplier. Gratitude as a wealth multiplier is one of the most powerful habits cultivated by self-made millionaires, a force that transforms perception, attracts opportunity, and amplifies abundance. They understand that life responds not merely to desire or effort, but to the inner attitude with which one approaches every circumstance. Gratitude is not a passive acknowledgement of what exists. It is an active, deliberate focus on appreciation, in thought, word, and emotion. By practicing gratitude consistently, they align themselves with the invisible currents of supply, inviting both visible and unseen resources to flow in harmony with their intentions. Self-made millionaires recognize that gratitude begins internally. They first acknowledge and appreciate the assets, skills, and opportunities already present in their lives, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant. This habitual acknowledgement shifts consciousness from lack to abundance, from limitation to possibility. They do not wait to feel thankful only after success arrives, because they understand that appreciation itself is the seed from which wealth grows. Gratitude precedes provision. It is not the consequence of abundance, but its cause. By cultivating a mindset of thankfulness, they prime their consciousness to receive more, creating a fertile mental soil for opportunity to take root. They also extend gratitude into daily practice, making it a conscious ritual rather than an occasional reflection. Each day begins or ends with a deliberate recognition of blessings, achievements, and progress. This practice trains the mind to dwell on constructive thoughts, rather than complaints or frustrations. They focus not on what is missing, but on what is present, knowing that attention amplifies reality. Repeated daily acknowledgement of even minor successes or fortunate circumstances builds a pattern of expectation for good, which naturally attracts our opportunities and resources. Words of gratitude are equally important to them. They express appreciation openly, acknowledging the contributions of others, the opportunities presented, and the favorable circumstances in which they find themselves. Speech carries energy, and by verbalizing thanks, they strengthen the mental and emotional alignment with abundance. Gratitude in communication enhances relationships, builds goodwill, and opens doors that might otherwise remain closed. They understand that wealth flows as much through the network of human cooperation as through the skill of individual effort, and gratitude lubricates the channels of exchange. They also practice anticipatory gratitude, expressing thanks for outcomes yet unseen. By mentally and emotionally acknowledging the manifestation of desires in advance, they send a signal to the subconscious mind that aligns thoughts, feelings, and actions with the reality they wish to create. Anticipatory gratitude reinforces belief, reduces anxiety about the future, and magnifies the perception of possibilities. This practice turns waiting into an active, receptive state, transforming passive hope into engaged expectation. Gratitude also moderates desire, preventing it from becoming desperation. Self-made millionaires understand that unchecked craving or dissatisfaction generates tension and fear, which repel rather than attract abundance. Gratitude balances ambition by creating a foundation of satisfaction, appreciatio, and contentment. In this state, action is motivated not by anxiety, but by clear purpose and joy. The energy generated by gratitude is magnetic, attracting circumstances, resources, and alliances that harmonize with the aspirant's inner state. Another aspect of this habit is its effect on perception. Self-made millionaires see opportunities where others see obstacles because their attention is trained on what is beneficial and supportive. Gratitude sharpens vision, allowing them to recognize possibilities, innovative solutions, and favorable circumstances that would otherwise go unnoticed. It shifts focus from limitation to potential, opening mental space for creativity and problem-solving. In this way, appreciation becomes a lens through which life is interpreted, converting ordinary situations into stepping stones toward greater success. They also understand the compounding effect of gratitude. Every acknowledgement of abundance builds momentum for more, just as small acts of kindness multiply in influence. The mind responds to appreciation by seeking further reason to be thankful, reinforcing optimism, motivation, and determination. Over time, this creates a positive feedback loop in which inner focus on blessings generates more visible blessings, reinforcing belief in personal efficacy and the law of supply. Gratitude enhances resilience as well. Challenges and setbacks are interpreted differently by those who maintain an appreciative perspective. Instead of perceiving obstacles as defeats, they view them as lessons, opportunities, or redirections. By focusing on what is working rather than what has failed, they maintain emotional balance and keep energy flowing toward solutions. This prevents discouragement from taking hold and allows consistent, constructive action toward goals, even in difficult circumstances. They also connect gratitude with generosity, understanding that appreciation expressed through giving amplifies abundance. By recognizing and honoring the contributions of others, and by sharing resources, knowledge, or encouragement, they reinforce the flow of exchange in life. Generosity is not out of obligation, but out of recognition that giving and receiving are intertwined. In expressing thanks and providing value, they create a cycle of reciprocity that attracts further opportunities and strengthens relationships vital to long-term success. Self-made millionaires also integrate gratitude into the visualization of their goals. While imagining the outcomes they desire, they simultaneously cultivate a deep sense of thankfulness, as if those goals are already achieved. This combination of mental imagery and emotional appreciation sends a powerful signal to the subconscious mind, aligning thought, feeling, and action. By repeatedly merging vision with gratitude, they establish a persistent inner current that draws circumstances and resources toward their objectives, reinforcing belief and sustaining effort. Through all these practices, gratitude becomes more than a feeling. It becomes a habit of consciousness, a principle of alignment with universal supply. Self-made millionaires cultivate it with the same diligence as any technical skill or business strategy because they know its power to multiply wealth and opportunity. They understand that abundance is not merely external, but is first created within, and that a grateful mind naturally resonates with prosperity, attracting favorable conditions, creative ideas, and beneficial relationships with effortless consistency. The focus on gratitude transforms not only material outcomes, but also the inner experience of life. By consistently recognizing and appreciating what is already present, they cultivate contentment, joy, and confidence, qualities that enhance decision-making, creativity, and energy. The mind attuned to gratitude is clear, receptive, and resilient, capable of generating ideas and solutions that produce lasting wealth. It is through this inner cultivation of thankfulness that opportunities appear, challenges are managed gracefully, and abundance is multiplied in ways that appear extraordinary to those who have not yet mastered this habit. Inner harmony and self-command. Inner harmony and self-command are the silent powers that distinguish self-made millionaires from the majority who struggle with inconsistency, impulsiveness, and scattered energy. They understand that outer success is the reflection of an inner state, a turbulent mind, filled with conflicting desires, fear, resentment, or doubt, repels opportunity and clouds judgment, while a mind in balance, calm and self-directed attracts favorable circumstances and makes clear decisions. Self-command is not a matter of suppression, but of conscious alignment, and inner harmony is the condition in which thoughts, emotions, and actions work together toward a singular purpose. Self-made millionaires cultivate awareness of their inner life. They pay attention to thought patterns, emotional reactions, and habitual responses. By observing themselves without judgment, they recognize which habits support progress and which hinder it. Inner harmony arises when attention is deliberately focused on constructive thoughts and emotions, allowing the mind to operate as a clear, receptive instrument. In contrast, those who are unaware of their inner state are at the mercy of impulse, circumstance, and external influence, allowing fear, anger, or indecision to guide action rather than purpose. Self-command begins with mastery over thought. Thoughts determine emotions, and emotions govern behavior. Those who cannot direct their thinking find themselves reacting rather than creating. Self-made millionaires recognize the causal relationship between inner thought and outer results. They refuse to entertain doubts, fears, or limiting beliefs longer than necessary. When negative thoughts arise, they are consciously replaced with constructive, solution-oriented ideas. This repeated practice transforms the mind into a tool of deliberate creation, rather than a playground for chance or circumstance. Emotional regulation is a crucial aspect of self-command. Self-made millionaires are not devoid of feeling, but they refuse to be dominated by it. Anger, jealousy, frustration, or despair are acknowledged, understood, and released rather than acted upon. By keeping emotions in harmony with purpose, they maintain clarity, make rational decisions, and preserve energy for productive action. Emotional turbulence is recognized as wasted energy that diverts attention from objectives, and through daily practice, they cultivate a calm center that serves as the foundation for all action. They also practice patience, which is an essential component of inner harmony. Success rarely occurs overnight, and the ability to remain centered while circumstances unfold is a mark of self-command. Patience does not mean inaction. It means maintaining focus and composure while continuing consistent effort. By aligning thought, emotion, and behavior with long-term objectives, self-made millionaires prevent frustration from disturbing their inner state. This calm persistence allows them to respond to obstacles creatively rather than reactively. Forgiveness is another key practice. Resentment, grudges, or lingering anger create inner turbulence and block the flow of opportunity. Self-made millionaires understand that forgiving others and releasing past disappointments is a way of reclaiming energy for constructive use. Forgiveness does not mean condoning poor behavior. It means refusing to carry the emotional burden that interferes with clarity and progress. By clearing emotional obstacles, they maintain an inner environment conducive to growth, creativity, and decision-making. Discipline is integral to self-command. It manifests in the consistent alignment of daily actions with long-term goals. They do not act on impulse or temporary desires, but choose behavior that supports purpose, even when it requires effort, delay, or sacrifice. Discipline in thought, speech, and deed generates predictability and reliability in outcomes. This habitual alignment between intention and action allows self-made millionaires to accomplish tasks efficiently, leverage opportunities, and avoid the setbacks that arise from inconsistency or carelessness. Mindfulness is cultivated to reinforce harmony. Self-made millionaires maintain a high degree of awareness of their mental and emotional states throughout the day. They notice when thought patterns drift toward negativity or when emotional reactions threaten equilibrium. Through mindfulness, they can intercept these tendencies early, redirecting focus toward constructive thinking and productive action. This continuous practice of awareness strengthens the connection between conscious intention and habitual behavior, gradually making self-command effortless and natural. They also manage external influences with care. The people, media, and environments they engage with can either disturb or enhance inner harmony. Self-made millionaires surround themselves with uplifting, supportive influences and limit exposure to negativity or distraction. This selective engagement preserves mental clarity, reinforces positive patterns, and ensures that energy is directed toward growth, rather than wasted in conflict or confusion. By consciously curating their surroundings, they maintain the internal state necessary for consistent, purposeful action. Visualization and mental rehearsal are tools to support self-command. They imagine desired outcomes and see themselves acting with composure, decisiveness, and confidence. This mental practice strengthens both belief and habit, training the mind to respond to challenges with calm and directed action. By rehearsing success internally, they reduce uncertainty, enhance focus, and ensure that outer behavior aligns with inner intent. This alignment is the essence of inner harmony, thought, emotion, and action, all moving toward the same objective. Gratitude and appreciation are integrated into the practice of self-command. By focusing on what is working and recognizing the value of resources, relationships, and opportunities, they maintain positive emotional energy and prevent frustration or envy from disrupting equilibrium. This combination of gratitude with disciplined thought and action creates a fertile internal environment, capable of attracting resources, ideas, and opportunities in ways that seem almost effortless. They understand that energy management is part of self-command. Attention, effort, and emotion are finite resources, and how they are directed determines the quality of results. Inner harmony ensures that energy is concentrated rather than scattered, that decisions are made calmly rather than reactively, and that action flows naturally from intention. By mastering this internal economy, they maximize productivity, creativity, and influence, ensuring that each effort contributes fully to the realization of goals. Ultimately, inner harmony and self-command create a mental and emotional climate in which wealth, opportunity, and success can flourish. Self-made millionaires are not immune to challenges, but their cultivated internal state allows them to respond with clarity, creativity, and resilience. Their actions are deliberate rather than reactive, their emotions aligned with purpose rather than circumstance, and their energy focused on growth rather than distraction. This inner mastery becomes the invisible engine behind visible achievement, transforming obstacles into opportunities and directing life's currents toward the fulfillment of their chosen goals.